Patton Oswalt recently claimed that the latest Lucasfilm Star Wars show Andor is the most relevant show on TV because there's a fascist takeover happening in the United States. Yes, that is indeed what he claimed. Roll this up over at fandompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. He made these comments during an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, which was, interestingly enough, being guest hosted by Andor actor Diego Luna instead of Jimmy Kimmel. Oswalt was the one who actually brought up the show and the Andor show. Obviously, I think Luna asked him about Star Wars originally, but then Oswalt brought up the show and he says, look, I love Star Wars, but Andor is next level. When asked to provide how much of a next level it is, he said, it's like above the heights that Star Wars has already hit. And then it goes beyond it in that you're watching Andor and going, I can't believe I'm watching a Star Wars show. And this is the most relevant thing to what's going on in this country in terms of like the weird kind of fascist takeover that's happening. Yes, he really said that. This guy is clearly living in a delusion, is at odds with reality. There is no way that there's a fascist takeover happening in the United States. It's just so absurd on its face. Donald Trump was elected president in 2016. Joe Biden became president in 2020, and then Donald Trump became president in 2024. Or 2025, he was obviously inaugurated 2025. If there was some kind of fascist takeover happening, do you think Donald Trump would leave the presidency after the 2020 election? No, I don't think so. He's not leaving. So to claim that there's some kind of fascist takeover, it's just so utterly absurd, just on its face. Nevertheless, Oswalt continued saying, in fact, here's the one bad thing about Andor. When you watch Andor, which is brilliantly acted, all the characters are nuanced. There's monsters and robots and stormtroopers. And then when you watch the news is like a crap version of Andor. It's like they did Andor, but without the special effects, with terrible actors. And you're just like, why don't they just show Andor? It's insane. It's so frustrating watching that. What I find really interesting about those comments is it seems to be like a confession that they are clearly using television shows to program you to behave the way they want you to behave. They want you to act like the rebels, the resistance out there on the street, rebelling against the fascist Donald Trump regime or whatever boogeyman they've conjured up, depending on what year it is, right? And they're using these TV shows to try to get people to buy in to these insane ideologies that are at odds with reality so that they can obviously control you, increase their own power, and then obviously destroy you as well, because that's what always ends up happening. And Patton Oswalt here clearly participating in that system to destroy things, and then admitting that's what the system is all about. So I find that really interesting right there, that you can kind of see how they are operating here. They are using these TV shows to program you. And this isn't anything new. Jon Favreau has actually talked about this. He doesn't talk about it in the extent that I'm talking about it, but he has said that you use these TV shows to pass down values to the next generation. And you can see the type of values that they are passing down, the values that Patton Oswalt is talking about here, which is rebelling against Trump or whatever, the fascist takeover that he claims is happening, that he is deluding himself into believing. But he wasn't done. He wasn't done. Later in the interview, Oswalt commented on a stand-up special he's doing with Audible, saying, the way the news is every day, we're just living in this insane, it's like we're stuck in a dryer being tumbled constantly all day. So I got to keep updating whatever it is I'm talking about, or you look insane if you don't acknowledge it. Luna, who appeared to be reading off a teleprompter, he literally like looks over at the camera and away from Patton Oswalt and is clearly like getting instructions. I don't know if he's like reading off a cue card, reading off a teleprompter or whatever, getting a signal from the producer or whatever, but he's clearly like being communicated with outside of him and Oswald. And then he then added, said, I believe it's dark times to do comedy. It's very difficult to achieve something better than what the president of this country does on his phone, which is just cringe, right? I mean, come on. How many times have we heard people say this over and over and over and over again, and they just get proven wrong every single time? But then Oswald then continued saying, well, it's hard to find something ridiculous. One thing I was realizing when I watched the footage of these ICE agents that are out there, and again, I hate what they're doing, but in a weird way, I feel bad for the ICE agents because it's so clear, like this was their fantasy to dress up like Judge Dredd and go out and make justice. But the thing is, they're shaped like me. They don't look like these hot. They look like Pillsbury stormtroopers, like the pudge is kind of sticking out of the body armor. Next, Oswalt then shared a message to ICE agents where he literally instructed them to do the red letter media meme of not ask questions. Don't ask questions, because get excited for next product and consume more, whatever it is, right? Consume next product. Don't ask questions, consume next product, get excited for next product. He literally does this in this kind of message he has for ICE agents where he like stares directly into the screen. And he says, "Hey guys, it's Patton Oswalt from Ratatouille. I know that you love characters like Judge Dredd and Mad Max, cool guys in body armor who are out there bringing justice to the lawless world. I like them too. I'm a big comic book nerd. But I realize that now you're out there and your knees are hurting, your hips are screaming, and your back is aching, and you're thinking, why didn't I just stay home and play Red Dead Redemption and eat Sun Chips instead of coming out here in the heat where everyone's booing me and I'm realizing that I'm the biggest douchebag on the planet? Well, there is still hope. There is. You still have a chance to do what I do and serve humanity by staying home and playing video games and purchasing all of America's great snack foods and helping this wonderful economy. So please, for the sake of the country, for the strength of America, sit and snack. Thank you." I mean, he literally is saying... He literally did the meme. He literally did the red letter media meme. You can't even make this stuff up. Sit and be propagandized to is what he is literally saying, because remember, it's not just about sitting there and eating snacks. It's literally go watch Andor so you can be indoctrinated into the ideology that we want you indoctrinated to. So you'll sit around, do nothing, and you won't actually care about society as it burns down around you, because you'll just be so numb to it because you'll have been infected by our propaganda. I mean, you literally can't make this up. I mean, these people are outright telling you what they are doing at this point. And I'm glad that people like him are no longer in charge anymore, and we are starting to get back to a sane society, but it's going to be a long fight. Just because we got some small wins here and there does not mean that the war is over. This is going to be a very long war. People like Patton Oswalt didn't suddenly just change their mind after Trump was elected. We're seeing that right here. Hollywood hasn't just turned it off, right? They're still doing this stuff. They're still pushing this nonsense. Marvel literally released their most woke television show that they've ever created in Ironheart this week. So it's not being turned off anytime soon. We have to continue to fight this stuff. And the only way that we can defeat it is through force, is through the use of power against these people. And that is exactly what philosopher Dr. Edward Feser has advocated. I've shared his commentary on that multiple times, and I'm in 100% agreement to it. It has to be eradicated, and you have to use the power of the state to do that. And it is right and just to do so, because this is a wicked, evil ideology that wants to destroy our society, destroy our culture, and ultimately destroy our souls. And we will not let that happen. We will fight against it. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always speak the truth.
Why would you be afraid of the people? Why are you not afraid of God instead of man?